Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. This is Somaliland National Television and you're watching the English news program with me, Mohammed Jibril. Here the stories making local headlines. Somaliland's government invites UN envoy for talks in Somaliland. Chief of Police says security will be stepped up on the eve of Eid festivals. Director General of Somaliland Minister of Planning informs about ministerial plans on development. Somaliland's government is reported to have invited the UN envoy of Somaliland and Somalia, Nicholas K, for talks on the UN and Somaliland's diplomatic relationship.
Somaliland's government is reported to have invited the UN envoy of Somaliland and Somalia, Nicholas K, to Somaliland for talks on the UN and Somaliland's diplomatic relationship. In a press conference held in Hargeisa, the Somaliland Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mohammed Yunus, confirmed that the UN envoy will be holding talks with the Somaliland officials. Mohammed Yunus informed the press about the improving diplomatic relationship between Somaliland's government and the United Nations envoy of Somaliland and Somalia, Nicholas K. Minister Bihi, speaking on an official visit that the UN envoy will be paying to Somaliland, stated that talks are arranged to be held between the Somaliland government officials and the UN envoy regarding the Somaliland and the UN diplomatic relationship, both on politics and social development issues that the UN agencies continue to promote, having headquarters in all cities and regions of Somaliland. Minister Bihi Yunus, a seasoned UN officer, has also reiterated that there is continuing and strengthening cooperation between the United Nations organizations and the government of Somaliland.
Somaliland's Chief of Police, Abdullahi Fadl Iman, told the press that the security will be stepped up on the eve of Eid festivals in all regions of Somaliland. Somaliland Chief of Police, Abdullahi Fadl Iman, told the press that the security will be stepped up on the eve of Eid festivals in all regions of Somaliland, sending a call to citizens to preserve security and avoid any disruption to the national security. Chief of Police Abdullahi Fadl Iman told the press that almost 200 youth have been captured by the police in the last few hours for involvement of activities against security. The police elaborated that the youth, including armed thieves with knives, have been captured by police involved in anti-security efforts and are held in a police custody. The Somaliland Chief of Police pledged that these youth will be dealt with their cases on court after investigation. Abdullahi Fadl Iman, speaking on security the end of Ramadan, stated that the security will be stepped up on the eve of Eid festivals to make sure that people shopping for the Eid festivals have easy access to the service they need and the Somaliland citizens rejoice during the upcoming Eid festivals. The Chief of Police added that the police are needed to take strong stays against drivers that are not abiding by the traffic legislation due to traffic jams at road linking the various districts of the capital city. Director General of Somaliland Ministry of Planning, Abdurrashid Ahmed Guled, speaking at a press conference he held at his office, informs about the ministerial plans on development throughout the nation. The Director General of Somaliland Ministry of Planning, Abdurrashid Ahmed Guled, speaking at a press conference he held at his office in Hargeisa, informed the media about the ministerial plans on development, including speeding development efforts in cooperation with international and local NGOs, among several other plans. Director General Abdurrashid took a several approach during the press conference in which he stated that the ministry has stepped up efforts aimed at increasing cooperation with both governmental and non-governmental organizations with the intent of capacity building government institutions and all social fields seen to be in a need of development. The Director General stressed the urgency of further development for this nation and the necessity of maintaining cooperation with the Somaliland citizens, concerned government institutions and organizations. Our development plans have increasingly been successful ever since our ministry put several development plans in place. We need not to succumb to our accomplishment. Thus, further efforts are needed to be taken to make sure further progress for our citizens, said by the Director General. The Director General of Ministry of Planning, Abdurrashid Ahmed Guled, added that the Ministry of Planning has made sure to achieve the initiation of several ongoing development initiatives within the last 6 months, from opening several conferences to playing a leading role in the developmental objectives of this nation. You still tune to the English news program on Somaliland National Television, the only Somali-speaking channel with an English news program. And now for international headlines in detail. Brussels to discuss tougher sanctions on Russia. EU foreign ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss a tougher stance on Russia in the wake of MH17 disaster. The 28-nation bloc have been under pressure to take a harder line on Moscow, but is yet to agree on a united response to a broader sanction. Some members stated that the concern about potential reprisal from Russia, which supplies around 30% of EU's nation gas demand. However, the British government has said it believed the cost of not acting against Russia would be greater than retaliation. British Finance Minister George Osborne said Britain was prepared to take any economic hit from imposing further sanctions. The situation in Ukraine is expected to be at the top of the agendas in Brussels, with recent events in Iraq and the latest development in the Middle East peace process also said to be debated. Israeli soldier missing, Palestinians killed in a new Gaza raid.
An Israeli military statement on Tuesday said the army had completed the identification of 6 of the soldiers killed and that efforts to identify the 7th soldier are ongoing and have yet to be determined. It had already announced the 7 deaths on Sunday, but did not immediately release all the names of the dead. Last Thursday, Israel launched a ground offensive into the Gaza Strip. On Monday, Hamas accused Israel of committing a Holocaust in the Gaza, claiming an air raid had killed 11 members of the same family as they ate a Ramadan meal. The health ministry said on Tuesday that 583 Palestinians had died in the past fortnight, with 3,640 injured. At least 29 Israelis, all but 2 of them soldiers, have been killed since the start of the Israeli offensive designed to stop the volleys of Hamas rockets and destroy its network of tunnels threatening Israelis living close to the border with Gaza. The violence has spilled over into the West Bank. In Ramallah, pro-Gaza protesters clashed with soldiers near a checkpoint on Monday night. In Beit Lahem, demonstrators threw stones at an Israeli watchtower. Soldiers fired tear gas. A Palestinian youth was shot dead.
That's all the news we have for you tonight. Until next time, Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.